Oh, I'm John Cadolf, one half of Two Cat Man.
I'm Dan Carlson, one half of Two Cat Man.
And this is
Oh, Shudder Club! Shudder Club! Shudder Club! Shudder Club! Shudder Club! Shudder Club!
Shudder Club!
today we are discussing a favorite of mine that John hated. The 1983 Grindhouse Gore Fest, J.P. Simon's Pieces.
Oh, shit.
So what Pieces is, so the tagline of Pieces is great. It says, you don't have to go to Texas for a chainsaw massacre. That's one of them. The other tagline that was real popular was Pieces. It's exactly what you think it is. And this movie promises a chainsaw massacre, and it delivers a chainsaw massacre.
That it did.
Lots of gore. Right off the bat, we get, there's a little flashback scene at the beginning where this kid is putting together a puzzle of this nude girl, and he apparently found in his dad's sock drawer or something, and he's about 80% done with it, and his very reactionary mother comes in and sees it. Oh, I think most mothers would be a little upset to see their child putting together a puzzle of a naked woman, but she's more upset than anyone would be. She starts screaming at him and whacking him. So he does what any child in this situation would do. He goes and gets an axe and kills his mother and starts putting the pieces of the puzzle back together.
Yep.
Yeah. I actually have a recreation of the puzzle.
Really?
It came with the Blu-ray.
Oh, neat. Is it actual puzzle?
It's a smaller version of the puzzle, but it's.
Oh, that's cool. Picture. Did you have to put it together?
It's already put together, but you can take it apart and put it together.
Oh, that's neat.
Do you want me to go get it?
Yeah.
Okay, one second.
Okay, so the movie didn't actually suck, but I had to give Dan a bunch of shit about it because it's a crap movie, but it's supposed to be a crap movie. But I actually did enjoy it for how campy and weird it is. But don't tell him I said that.
So here's the Blu-ray. It's from Grindhouse Releasing. They did a deluxe job making it look like a Criterion.
Ah.
There's some images from the movie.
Oh, yeah. Didn't get that either. But go ahead.
Didn't get it?
The end.
Oh. Well, we're not there yet. Okay, so the Blu-ray comes with a puzzle. See, it's blood-soaked and...
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's still in the plastic. I didn't take it out because I think it'd be hard to get it back in the case.
Oh, I thought you were going to say, I thought it would be hard to put together.
Yeah.
Does the boob go here?
It was hard for the kid to put together. So he grows up. He's not blamed for the murder. It's assumed that someone broke in. And he grows up.
He hid in the closet.
Yeah, and he's a bad man or something like that.
Yeah.
And then he grows up, and we are at a college, and there are Giallo murders happening. Which, if you're familiar with
Giallo murders,
Giallo.
Oh, I thought you said Jello murders.
That's another story for our anthology, the Giallo murders.
The Jello murders.
If you're a Giallo fan, this is sort of the last great Giallo of the 80s because there's actually a black-gloved killer. There's the great. What'd you think of the music?
The music was all right. It was funky.
It was fun. It was a funky synthesizer. I have the score. Would you like me to go get the soundtrack CD?
Yeah.
1 second.
Okay. There he goes. All right. So, yeah, that's, I guess, to revise my little spiel, was that the end was really the only part that I was like, what the hell? But yeah, it was one of those movies that I would go to the movie theater to yell at the screen.
This actually came with the Blu-ray
Oh wow.
soundtrack CD. You don't have to go to Texas for a Chainsaw Massacre. He grows up. We don't know which of the characters he is, but
I did.
Anyway, he grows up. There's it takes place at a college, and the co-eds are getting murdered.
And having sex.
So the first scene after the credits is a chainsaw murder, and then there's a big.
Why do you think he switched to a chainsaw?
Because the tagline they had to live up to the tagline. They said it was a chainsaw massacre.
Oh,
So they had to put a chainsaw in the movie. Anyway,
that was you just getting tired of me.
So then there's an investigation into a series of escalating violent murders of young co-eds.
Yeah, and it's starting to annoy people.
It's starting to get on some people's nerves. Someone is wrongly accused. This guy who looks just like Bluto from the Popeye movie. He even does the eye thing like all the time.
All the time.
Yeah. And there's nothing mean looking about him, even though he's very big. He could easily kick your ass, but there's nothing mean about him.
Right.
He just looks like a guy. But they accuse him, and basically the mystery is just there because that's what is in GLs. It's not real hard to figure out who the killer is, but it's fun. There's a kung fu scene out of nowhere, and then after the karate scene, the guy just realizes that the girl he attacked was his friend, so they just kind of part ways.
Yeah, that kind of freaked me out. I was like, okay, so we don't see this guy at all in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just pops up, does a whole bunch of kung fu, knocks the girl over, and then the friend shows up and is just like, oh, hey. And and he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? Okay, I got to go. Bye. And he goes, oh, yeah, that was my kung fu teacher.
Yeah, the movie is great that way. It's just a lot of...
And then you never see him again.
Right. Well, there's a checklist for grindhouse movies. There's got to be gore, there's got to be nudity, and there's got to be kung fu. Dolomite even lived up to the checklist.
Yeah.
So
I just don't understand why they threw that in. It's hilarious.
It's weird because this is a Spanish movie, but it looks a lot like the kind of movies that were made in Italy in the early 70s. But yeah, it's one of my favorite gore fests. It's bad in all the right ways. It's funny. There's one scene where somebody gets murdered, and then the heroine gets really frustrated and just screams out, "Bastard!" like 3 times.
3 times with little pauses in between.
It's almost like they did. It's almost like the director was going, "Do it again," and then she, "Oh, again, bastard!" Yeah, I just loved it. I know you didn't quite have the same reaction to it that I did.
Yeah. Okay, so once they figure out who the murderer is, they have to make a mad dash to the heroine's house and save her from the murderer, who has given her a drug that paralyzes her.
Mm-hmm. Sort of like the Serpent in the Rainbow.
Yeah, it's like voodoo drip drops. And so they dash over there and they save her from him. And then the guy, the student who is an aspiring police officer, boy, he screams a lot. I mean, oh my God, he screams a lot. It's like he's losing his mind. And then in the next scene, he's just like, I'm okay now.
Well, that's the way it works, you know.
And then he's like, they're like, all right, yeah, well, okay, let's go. You still want to be a cop? And he's like, are you kidding? And he gets up, and then they start walking out, and then out of nowhere, the dead body reaches up and grabs his nuts, and he loses his shit again. Freeze frame. End of movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just because horror movies have to have that one last shock.
But that was a dead body.
Doesn't matter.
Why did it do that?
Because they needed to have one last gory shock in the movie to send the audience out on a high note. Friday the 13th movies do this all the time.
All right, here's my take on the movie.
Okay.
You
told me you thought it sucked.
Okay, so there's a lot of breasts. There's a lot of dancing. There's
Kung Fu.
Huh?
There's Kung Fu.
There's one like 30-second Kung Fu scene.
There's aerobics.
There's aerobics. There's aerobic dance. There's chainsaws, cutting off arms and people in half.
There's a great scene on a waterbed involving a waterbed in the middle of the gym.
In the middle of the gym, which they actually, I think, talked about earlier in the movie.
Have you heard the latest? They've just installed a waterbed in the training room.
Have you ever been laid on a waterbed? The most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed at the same time.
But yeah, dude, it's
and I
just...
think that's why they had to put that dialogue towards the beginning, because because they did the murder, and then they were probably wait, we have to explain why there is a waterbed in. Yeah, it was just weird.
That's what's so fucking cool about it, though.
It's just such a weird movie, and none of it really. I mean, it's pretty incoherent, but I mean, the storyline does go along, but you don't know why things are happening necessarily, or how people get themselves into the predicaments that they're in, and stuff like that. And yeah.
Were you entertained?
I was entertained.
Okay. But you can't recommend it?
I don't know. What do you say?
Fucking press play, of course.
Yeah, I say press play.
Oh, you don't really want to recommend it, do you?
Yeah, it's worth watching.
Okay. You don't have to.
I've been giving you just a whole bunch of shit.
No, you hated it. You were like, you couldn't even finish it.
I just was really tired when I watched it the first time, but then when I rewatched it, I was just like laughing, and yeah. I mean, this is once you
okay to hate.
You put me you put me in the right mindset when we talked.
Okay.
When we talked, you told me you got to watch it with the right mindset, and I thought it was a serious, like supposedly a serious film. And it's not. I mean, it's like Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's shot knowing that it's really going to be camp and ridiculous, but I would love to go see like a midnight showing of this and be able to like scream out at the screen and stuff like that.
If you get the Blu-ray, or if you have a chance to rent the or whatever, or maybe you could watch it when you come up here.
Yeah, I'll just head out Blockbuster.
Yeah. When you come up here, we'll do a screening because on your screen, your projection screen.
Yeah.
There's a track on the Blu-ray that's recorded at the Vine Theater in California, and everybody's just having a blast. So
that's cool. Yeah, I think I'd love to go see a midnight showing of it. So yeah, I do press play. I honestly do.